Yo, it's Friday night, 9 p.m. sharp. You know what time it is.
NarcoCop and Timothy hitting you with that Lambo energy.
He's Mike by name, but the streets call NarcoCop. Used to bust dealers, now he's busting long shots. Retired badge, now he's bad with the bets. Octagon fiend, cashing slips, no regrets. Friday night fight, Seki poured on ice. Lambo Plays podcast, breaking down the price. Got parlays, KO, subs in round 3. Split decision magic, cash it like a G. Lambo Plays, it's a wild parade. Long shots flying, getting that paid. Tim with impressions, Narco's got the locks. Whisper bet of the week, gonna shock your socks. Lambo Plays, the odds go cray. Spin that wheel, it's a betting ballet. KO's a B, round 2 or 3. Hit that split, cashing big, LFG. Tim Troiano, lotion in hand. Tennis coach by day, fight fan of the land. Watching WMMA, yeah, you know the drill. Playing with himself, just joking, but still. Impressions fly, Katona in the house. Roses Jr. squeaking, Tim's loud like a mouse. Cornholio vibes, he's stealing the show. Narcos like bruh, but they still go toe to toe. Round 2 chaos, round 3 gold. Split decisions, bets unfold. Side case sipping, parlays lit. Lambo energy, never quit. Lambo Plays, it's a wild parade. Long shots flying, getting that paid. Tim with impressions, Narco's got the locks. Whisper bet of the week, gonna shock your socks. Lambo Plays, the odds go cray. Spin that wheel, it's a betting ballet. KOSOB, round 2 or 3. Hit that split, cashing big, LFG. NarcoCop, Timmy T, Friday nights, a Lambo Plays podcast. Where long shots live large, and splits hit harder. We out. We out. We out.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to NarcoCop MMA. I'm your host, Mike, along with my co-host, Timothy Troiano, and this is the Lambo Plays podcast, episode 170. Tim, 170, 170 shows, UFC Perth. We got a banger of a main event in Carlos Prates versus JDM, an incredible striker versus striker matchup. But then we have the Fade Australia tour. You know, I'm on that Fade Australia tour. I'm making my you know, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, I'm there. I'm on that Fade Australia tour. There's a lot of Australians on this card. There's a lot of guys that, you know, we're not the best. We got 6-fight losing streak type of guys. We have, you know, guys that are barely 500 in their career, still fighting somehow. But yeah, we're going to talk about this card. How do you feel about UFC Perth other than you waking up at, you know, 4 a.m?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be waking up. I think I'll just be staying up pretty much at that point. Just have a late night. Yeah, I mean, I love this card. I think that there's some really good, you know, going to be some good violent spots. And I think the main event is probably one of the better main events that we're going to have this year. Can't wait to chop it up with you and get some money for the people.
All right. So one thing I want to ask you is, like, you're going to stay up like throughout, like not go to sleep?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to be grilling Wagyu in like 4 a.m?
No, that's not going to happen.
Oh,
I'll save that. Yeah, I'll save that for later.
Come on. I mean, what's a fight card at 4 a.m. without Wagyu steak?
Yeah, I should consider it. Really, I should a breakfast steak.
I honestly think like you're there, like, you know, breakfast with steak and eggs or something. You know, top tier steak and eggs. You know, this is a top tier steak and eggs. So, all right, let me go over to chat. Shout out my chat. First one is Elijah one. LOL. He says, I don't know what he's laughing about. But Dixon says, Narco, my goodness gracious. I'm not sure who your co-host was today, because based on this thumbnail, I thought you had Coolio as a special guest. But when I squinted my eyes, I noticed actually Tim. Tim, what can you give the listeners a background? What is that picture, dude? Like I had to put it. You send me these fucking pictures. You send me a baby picture. Well, that's in your profile. I'm not sending that. I'm not putting that picture. But then I see a picture of a madman. I'm like, what kind of drugs is this dude on? Can you let the people know what the?
I think that we'll see
behind that picture.
That picture is from a hotel room. I was not in Vegas. I was in Negril, Jamaica, with a girlfriend at the time, and she took the picture. I had the hair before I did it in cornrows, so I had the long hair and not to incriminate myself in case any of the kids I coach were watching, but there was stuff.
You had fun
being done at that point.
You just had you had a lot of fun, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Azure says, let's effing go. The best in the biz. NarcoCop. Thank you, NarcoCop and Tim. Appreciate you. Buster J says JDM submission. We're going to talk about that fight. Tim now looks like he's the next big white rapper. Yeah. Mushroom. What's up, Narco and Tim? Hitting Lambos and cashing tickets before breakfast. Yeah, that's the plan. DO7 says, when I first saw this thumbnail, I thought it was crows flying on Tim's head, only to find out it's his hair. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I want Sad Tim back. Tim?
No,
can we bring him back, Sad Tim?
No, I think we got to do. I think we got to do the baby me, man. Like the headphones.
Baby me was their Twitter profile.
I had Twitter. Is that my Twitter profile?
He used to be for a
it's not anymore.
time.
Yeah, it's not anymore. Yeah,
well, I'm saying he used to be. All right. Timo is a little bit off here. You know, you're quite a bit off, Timo. Beneil Dariush is the best Indian fighter of all time. Well, sorry to break it to you, but he's not Indian. You're probably joking, but yeah, I mean, Beneil is a Syrian, and yeah, it's what I am. Double Flushing says we will be making money while we sleep Saturday night. That's absolutely facts. MMA Tard, Tim looks higher than the buildings behind Narco. He also says, damn, Tim looks like he's fresh off a dab. Guy got hair like Marlon Wayans in Don't Be a Menace to Society. Tim's eyes are redder than the glove. It looked like he'd knock on my window at the red light. Jewish Better, what's up, my man? Thank you for joining. Jackie Blaine says, agents, thank you for blessing my screen this evening. Let's hit some whispers and cash for UFC Perth, and then smash that like button. Oreo, what up, though? What else we have here? Danny Link, let's go, my man. Cone Peasy, make us rich this week, Narco. That is my plan. Yes, freak. Scottsdale, Arizona treadmill team is in the house, Tim. They are absolutely in the house. Glenbot, what's up? Rude One says, let's effing go, boys. Great MLB cash on the Jays game. Let's effing go. Thanks for feeding the Discord, homie. I appreciate you. Daz is in the house as well. Lambos, let's go. Jonathan Everett, let's get that money. Who else? We have Bruce Lee. Muhammad, am I reading this wrong? It might be something really bad if I say it too loud. Muhammad, I'm our Bruce Lee. I'm not saying this. It sounds like it's a catch. That pick is a good improvement. They're saying Joseph says skirts taking eggs with some chimi, bro. Oh, some chimichurri sauce. I think he's talking about. What else we got here? Not many people know this, but Tim used to be black. Yeah. DXJC says, I'm laughing my ass off. Sean Bitter says, best of luck this weekend, guys. What else we have here? Carlos, usually the thumbnail stretches Narco's head out a few feet. Carlos also says, Indian Pride, they're jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah. Now someone else says, let's go India rules. Adam says, Narco and the Great Cornolio, let's get it. Thank you. From Rumble. Let's go. Apparently, yeah, that's true. Narco's the best Indian to ever cap MMA. That's correct. Yeah. Dave Craigs. About Vinny. Great. Oh my God. Aaron Carr, don't be a menace to Sound Central while drinking your juice in the hood, Tim. Man, this is fucking some great comments today. I got to read through them because it's so funny. KJ says, my guy, time to cash some straights and lays. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Narco, you are a fighting nerd, says Michael Anunda. Am I a fighting nerd? I need those glasses, actually. I'm in a weird mood because I got my ass kicked today. I was telling Tim in kickboxing. So, yeah, it was not a good day for me. The ghost says, time to catch some lays and straights. Let's go. All right, Tim, let's start here. I'm going way too much. We got 13 fights. We got a late ad. So we're going to start here. First fight of the night. And it is in the men's lightweight division. I'm going to have to pull up the odds screen because these are like the older odds. And I didn't, that was from my show on Tuesday. And I didn't change them. I kind of like leaving them just to show people how much the odds have moved. Like my show was Tuesday, right? So currently it's actually Cody Steele at minus 180 with the comeback on the Marfan at plus 155. The Marfan's 9-2, 26 years old against 31-year-old 7-1 Cody Steele. So you can go ahead and kick this one off. Give us your take here.
Yeah, so I think this is an interesting bounce back spot for Cody Steele. Don Marfan is a guy that I think doesn't like pressure, wants to be able to kind of clinch guys up and use physicality, likes to grapple himself. And I just think that he's not going to get a clean striking style fight, and he's not going to have an easy time clinching and or taking down Cody Steele, in my opinion. I feel like Cody's a better wrestler. I feel like he's has better jiu-jitsu. Where I think Don Mar wins the fight would be like if it is just Cody fighting dumb, which he has done before, and just not going for any takedowns himself and just trying to wing bombs and trying to connect on one shots like he did versus Rongju, and just winning a close decision for Don Mar. But to me, I like Cody Steele in this fight. I hope he kind of gets his head out of his ass tactically and strategically and goes to his better win condition and grapples this fight. And I like the submission prop for Cody at plus 550. And I like the sub 2, sub 3 at 18-1 and 22-1. I think if he grapples in this fight, I think that he's has significantly better jiu-jitsu. And whether or not he's able to be smart enough to actually do this. This is the fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. So I'm ready to have shame on me in this one for backing him again by sub. But I think I think he's just much, much better on the ground if he wants to take it there. So yeah, give me a sub and then late round sub.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting fight because I don't really rate Don Marfan that much. I just feel like a lot of these fights, he's like weaseling a win. It's a lot of scrambling where he's winning the scrambling against some of these guys, right? Kim fight a couple of fights ago, he got his back taken in round 1. He got his back taken again. I believe it was either 2 or 3. In round 1, he didn't reverse, if I remember correctly. So he lost round 1. But in round 3, he did reverse, eventually go on to win the fight, 29-28. But the thing with Don Marfan is I don't think he's very hard to take down. Like he's been taken down in almost every fight when guys want to grapple him. His takedown defense is not great. I will say that, I don't mind his scrambling ability. He seems to be okay with his scrambling ability. He last time against Kim. Did I say Kim? No, I meant Park. Park was the one where he got his back taken a couple of times and he reversed round 3 to win a 29-28. The last fight versus Kim had some success with the grappling, but so did Fan in that fight. But most of the time, it was either in the clinch or it played out in the striking in that fight. And honestly, I think if Kim had a better game plan and just was striking with him, I think he had a much better chance. I think he hurt Don Marfan in round 3 a couple of times. once to the body, but instead of throwing more, he fucking clinched. Like Kim just fought a very, very bad fight, in my opinion. Bad fight IQ. I think that guy Kim, anyway, he's not very smart. He's not a very smart fighter. And then when you look at the 2 times that he faced an actual guy that can grapple and is better than him, obviously in the grappling, which is Salkilld, he got subbed both times against, Quillen. And listen, Quillen's a good grappler, but he's not an elite grappler. He's not top tier. You know what I'm saying? Like Quillen Salkilld is a good grappler, but it's, ends there. He's good. That's about it, right? Cody Steele is an excellent grappler. I mean, he's got good wrestling. He's got very good jiu-jitsu. He's got very good defensive wrestling and get-up game, right? He's just really sound when it comes to jiu-jitsu and his grappling overall. The problem is he's kind of fell in love with his hands. That's just what I've seen, right? Like he is absolutely fell in love with his hands. I remember listening to, he got the knockout against Whitehead. Then he knocked out Echeverry, and then he knocked out this guy Hernandez. And then when he went into Dana White's Contender Series and he got a knockout there as well on the feet, I remember listening to an interview and he was saying that, he knows he kind of fell in love with his hands because he was getting knockouts, one left, right, and center, right? Well, last fight he comes out and he's like, yeah, let me throw hands again, right? Guess what? Rong Zhu has a brick fucking chin, right? He's got a really, really good chin, and he's a really good striker, So he kind of put Cody in his place in a way. Cody realized that, oh shit, my striking might be good against some of these guys, but not against a high level striker or a good striker like Rong Zhu, right? So, but even in that fight, I mean, he hurt Rong Zhu. You know what I'm saying? He hurt Rong Zhu in that fight. And Rong Zhu just came back and hurt him. He hurt him back and just more experience. Rong Zhu has a ton of fights. The experience kind of got to Cody Steele. And Cody Steele said in his interview this week, I listened to his interview. He said, listen, I took that fight and I knew I wasn't ready for it. He goes, but I took it because I didn't want to say no to the UFC. When they offered it, I said, that's fine. He had to fly all the way to Australia, his UFC debut, right? And he said, I just went in there and I said to myself, either I'm going to kill him or he's going to kill me. That was his mentality going into that fight. No game plan. Just either I kill him or he's going to kill me, right? And that's how he fought. This time around, he says, listen, this time, this is my second UFC fight. I took a decent amount of time off. I improved. And now I know I'm going into my second fight. I need to win. And I know where I'm good, basically saying that he's going to grapple in this fight. And let me tell you, the Marfan's good at scrambling and stuff like that. He's going to get the thing with Cody Steele, he's going to be way more athletic. He's going to be stronger, and he's the much better grappler of these two guys. And to be honest, he's the much better striker too. Like, I get it. The Marfan has a good jab and he throws some knees, but he's not that good, man. He's backing up to the cage, reaching, hands down sometimes, getting clipped. He doesn't like to eat body shots, which Cody Steele is a nasty to the body. And he's got some great kicks. So I know this is a long breakdown, but I know Cody Steele only has one sub. And that's because, some of these guys too that he's fought are actually good wrestlers and grapplers. But I think he's going to grapple here. He's going to, if he gets the back of Fan like Park did, I think he probably subs him. So I'm going to take the sub. It's $7.50, by the way, Tim. If you go to DraftKings, it's the line's a lot bigger on DraftKings for subs. So I like it. I think that, if he goes along with the plan and does what he's saying he's going to do, I think the sub is definitely going to be there for him where he can get this guy. So yeah, give me submission. Long fucking breakdown, but I like submission here for Cody Steele. And honestly, I think his money line is short. I think minus 180 is short. I just think he's the better fighter everywhere. Moving on. Next fight. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 14-6 Themba Gorimbo versus the 9-1 Jonathan Micallef. And currently, Micallef is minus 230 with the comeback on Gorimbo at plus 195. And the line here has come down quite a bit. I mean, Themba was upwards of almost 300 at one point, and it's completely crashed here. And I totally understand why, because I am not really big on Micallef. I think he's very robotic on the feet. I think he's very slow. I think he's very flat-footed, right? The other thing is he kind of doesn't proactively grapple. Like the grappling comes from his opponents initiating it. And I think it's because he's kind of slow. You know, even if he was to shoot on somebody, I really don't see why anybody wouldn't be able to defend it, because they probably see it coming from this guy. He's not very quick. He's not like one of those guys. He's more physical, and like he's big and strong, right? But he's pretty slow on the feet. And even though Themba's 8 years older, I think he's faster. He's got faster punches. I think he's got faster kicks. I think actually he's the better wrestler of these two guys by a good margin. You know, when I go back and watch the Wells fight, and listen, I do not like Themba as a person. I think this guy's a fraud as a person, but as a fighter and a guy, like from what I've seen, his grappling is good, man. His wrestling is good. You know, to do what he did to Jeremiah Wells, who's an ox. People say this guy's an ox when you grab a. He's very, very strong. He's a very good grappler. He's a black belt, extremely hard to hold down. And what Themba was able to do with him in that fight was kind of surprising, man. I watched it back. I'm like, damn, I don't remember him having all these takedowns, I think he had like 6 takedowns, bunch of like top time, right? He lost the fight. But my point is, like, he was doing really well against a very physical, strong guy and a very good grappler in Jeremiah Wells, right? So why can't he do the same thing to Micallef? Why can't he take down Micallef? Like, I've seen Micallef, Dana White's Contender Series, the Gato guy took him down. He's been taken down on the regionals, you know, in Hex. Oban Elliott, I believe, took him down last fight. You know what I'm saying? And Oban Elliott, he won round 1. I don't know what he was doing in round 2 where he hurt Micallef, and then he's like, oh, let me clinch and grapple. I have no idea what the fuck he was doing. And then he gets taken down and subbed after he tries to clinch. So, yeah, Micallef to me is just not like a minus 230 type of fighter, man. He's not great. He dropped last round against Juice after hurting him a couple of times with head kicks. I think Themba's going to win here by decision, Tim. It's plus 550. Big number. Plus 550. Themba by decision for me.
Yeah, I think we're seeing this fight as well. This pretty much the same way. Like, it's he's got to avoid the chokes, and he's got to avoid Micallef's like just bottom game being able to either get a reversal or triangle chokes and shit like that. And front choke series as well, because Themba tends to put his head in bad spots. But, you know, he did well in those spots versus Wells. The sub versus Luque, he was pretty much concussed. That was a major club and sub situation. So, yeah, I think also, like, I don't think, like, this is like, if Themba doesn't get grappling in this fight and he doesn't get major top time, that he's just like cooked on the feet. Like, Micallef's like got better kicks, but boxing, I think, is like his boxing is like just a fucking straight. Like, he just throws a straight and that's it. Like, and he kicks. So he's got to worry about body kicks. He's got to worry about calf kicks, which I think will be there all day. But I think Themba can box with him on the feet. I think he can be kind of close on the feet striking wise. And then, you know, if you're saying like which one of these guys has, you know, 10 to 12 minutes of top time potential, I think it's Themba for sure. I am concerned that Themba has a tendency to just kind of lay and pray when he's on the ground. And I think, like, in Australia with those guys booing, like, I'm worried that he gets stood up like maybe once or twice in this fight. But yeah, I'm on the same one. I think that the points at plus 550 and then the split for Themba's plus 1600. I think those are good.
Yeah, I don't. You're right about the laying and praying potential. I don't think it's going to happen with Micallef because he works a lot off his back. He's not going to. I don't think he's going to allow him, put it that way, to just lay and pray. He's going to throw elbows, do this, throw up submissions, you know. And I do think, you know, there's people in here between round system, but sub or decision. I don't think he's gonna get the sub, honestly, but
I don't think he gets a sub.
I don't think so, but yeah, I mean, I think
I
this
think he gets
is,
subbed or he wins a decision.
I think this is more live, in my opinion. Yeah, I think Jonathan could potentially, get a sub. He is strong. He does throw up a lot of submissions, and he looks for them. I think it's possible he can get. It's not like it's some like big percentage that it happens, but I think it's possible because I do think there's going to be grappling in this fight. So. All right, let's move on. Next fight. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 8-3 Wes Schultz versus the 5-1 Ben Johnston. And currently Johnston is minus 140. And the comeback on Wes Schultz at plus 120. So basically hasn't moved since Tuesday. Tim, this one's yours.
Yeah, a lot of question marks. This fight is extremely volatile. Wes Schultz fought a penis last fight. Now he's fighting a Johnson. His next fight's going to be versus a Wang, and then the fight after that he's going to fight a dude named Cox. Like they're lining him up with every phallus that they possibly can. Yeah, I don't know, man. This Wes Schultz to me, I wanted to
go on. Before you go on, like you just said, he fought penis, and then now he's fighting Johnson. Then, did you know what Wes Schultz did prior to MMA?
Was he like a porn star?
No. Look at it. Look at his photo. He was Thunder from Down Under.
Okay,
that's why he's fighting in. He was part of the Thunder from Down Under crew. But go ahead.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just both these guys have major like red flags for this fight. The Johnson side, obviously, he hasn't fought very many fights. He's 35, off 2-year layoff, shoulder surgery, just basically coming off the couch, and they needed a guy to fight Schultz. And then you got Schultz. Schultz to me just seems to be like kind of gassy, kind of spazzy, makes some bad decisions. Even when he gets fights down to the ground, he loses positions and is very, very like excited when he fights, and just like I said, just loses positions and doesn't make good decisions, and seems to not have more than 5 to 7 minutes of real gas to attack. And I was trying to convince myself to maybe get to Schultz. Like I wasn't trying to get to Schultz like money line, because I didn't think it was wide enough, but like I was trying to get to Schultz decision. It was like 11-1 when I saw it. I'm like, maybe he can top time this guy and get some takedowns, because that's what I saw with Johnson is he can be taken down. He's kind of a taller dude, and he's more of a kickboxer to me than a grappler, even though he's got a bunch of subs, and he's gotten taken down versus pretty shitty fighters. And I think that's Wes Schultz, I think, landed 2 takedowns against Malik, and I think he can get takedowns here, but it's just a question of like, can he do it and keep him down for 15 minutes? And that's the question where I eventually couldn't get to that. Like, I think he might have success in round 1, getting him down and holding him down. I think Johnston is a black belt in BJJ, so I think he most likely can stay safe himself from getting subbed in round 1. And then I think like when the fight is standing, I just think Wes is just too hittable, and really, I'm not knocking him for getting knocked out by a penis and by Malik here, but like, I just think that his durability and how he's reacting to shots is kind of funny. So I ended up on the KO for Johnston at +3. I think I bet it at +390. Now it's like +330. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I don't hate anybody taking a shot at 11-1 on points for Schultz. If he can last and grapple and just stay safe, I think 11-1's a huge line. Everybody's probably going to be chasing the sub on Wes, and I don't think that's the way to go with him. I would rather choose the decision at a bigger line.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I watched Wes Schultz. And yeah, there's red flags with Johnson, right? He's coming in 2-year layoff, retires, unretires, whatever, right? He wasn't even supposed to be in this fight. Wes Schultz, they called, his name is Darcy Vandy or Vandy Darcy, something like that. Darcy Vandy, yeah. and that's a teammate of Ben Johnson's, and I guess Ben Johnson has coached him a little as well. And apparently, Vandy, when UFC called, he was injured. He says, "There's no way I can fight in Perth because I'm injured right now." So the next guy up, or the next guy the UFC thought of, or maybe his name was thrown out, I don't know, was Ben Johnson. And when Ben Johnson got the call, he said, of course, because Ben Johnson has been pleading with the UFC for like 3 years, I believe. Last time, a couple years back, when they were coming to Perth, he was, please put me on the Perth card. Please, I want to be on the Perth card. Well, they never gave him the call, right? They didn't give him the call. And he kind of said that he retired. Like, he didn't want to fight regionally. The only way he would fight again is the UFC, if the UFC called. And sure enough, the UFC called. And he's like, there's no way. He goes, if I had one, Tim, this guy said, if I had one leg, like my leg was broken, I would still take this fight and fight because I want to be in the UFC. So I'm looking at this guy's photo from 2 days ago, and he's absolutely fucking shredded. He's yoked to the maximum. So if this guy hasn't been training, he's been doing something right, because he looks like he's in pretty damn good shape, right? And then I turn on the tape on Ben Johnson, and I'm kind of impressed, honestly. I like his Muay Thai striking. It's good. He's got nasty calf kicks, absolutely nasty calf kicks, nasty fucking in the clinch knees, like very stepping knees are just, he is a typical Muay Thai guy, dangerous as hell in the clinch, good hands actually from this guy, and he's got incredible kicks, you know. So his thing is getting taken down, right? He got taken down against Frazier. There was one point where he got taken down. He kind of just laid there for like, it was towards the end of the round. I think it was towards the end of the round one. He just laid there. He didn't even attempt to get up. But in the second round, I mean, he was sprawling really good, in my opinion. I think he has really good sprawls. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Now, I don't know. There's levels of black belts, right? I'm not sure what kind of level he is, but he knows what he's doing. It's not like he's completely clueless on the mat, right? I think he needs to keep this fight standing. I don't think it's good to, be scrambling around in the ground with Wes Schultz when, you haven't fought in 2 years. You don't know what your cardio is going to look like, all kinds of things. Even though Wes Schultz has shit cardio, Wes Schultz is not a UFC level fighter. This guy's not good, guys. He is not good. He got Sulayev stretch versus Mingaj, the Italian dude, who literally just got subbed by like an 8-5 guy in Cage Warriors. Like Mingaj stinks. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that impressive? No. And then when you look at his career and his wins, they just all stink, man. He's got doesn't have good wins. Schultz. And the fact that they were putting him with that Darcy Vandy guy who I saw, and he looks pretty damn good, right? They were probably trying to get this guy assassinated by Schultz. Well, they're going to get him assassinated here by Johnson instead of the other guy. So, yeah, I like KO here. I gave it out earlier in the week. I got a big bet, actually, on his KO Johnson. I think the market's overreacting to how many subs he has. He's getting these subs with like 0 hooks in all the time, like that, almost like a crossface choke, but he's getting under the chin. And he's just subbing guys with no hooks. He's got probably a good squeeze, and he doesn't need the hook. Once he has it latched on with the hand behind the head, it's kind of like over. He doesn't even need the hook. So the only thing is, like, Schultz is a little bit better on the mat than some of those guys that he faced. I will say that the last guy he beat, that John Martin Frazier, is a better fighter than Wes Schultz. I would take that guy any day of the week against Wes Schultz. He's more dangerous on the feet. He's a better striker. Yeah. I mean, Ben Johnson should knock out Wes Schultz, man. Like, Schultz's last fight against Penis, it looked like he was getting hit with a shotgun every single time. Like, he's getting hit and just dropping right away. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, okay, Pinas hits hard, but like you're acting like you got shot every single time, dude. Like, what is this? So, yeah, I mean, I like Johnson here quite a bit. I think maybe the money line's even short here, honestly. So, yeah, give me Johnson by KO at plus 390. Moving on. Next one. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 16-10 Vince Morales versus the 8-1 Colby Thicknesse. And currently, Thicknesse is minus 135, a little bit higher with the comeback on Morales at plus 115. I will kick this one off. Tim, this one reminds me of Davey Grant versus Martinetti. And we're back there again. And I'm back playing the older guy here at 35, Vince Morales, the veteran, against the 26-year-old 8-1 bad fighter, in my opinion, Colby Thicknesse. Like, this guy's striking is not good at all. It's very, very bad. It's just basically kicks. He has some wrestling, but I think Vince, I know Vince gets taken down, okay? And he gets taken down against guys like Elijah Smith and you know, Rosas. But those guys are way better wrestlers, athletic guys. They're just way better athletes than a guy like Colby. Colby Thicknesse is like literally telling you, I'm shooting. You know, Musasa was able to stuff some, but Musasa, once he got grounded, has gotten like no idea what to do. Like zero clue of what to do on the mat, right? Morales, you saw he almost subbed Raul Rosas, right? A couple of times in that fight. He almost subbed Elijah Smith. Very, very close. The thing with Morales, I think that's different from his first stint, is that he seems to be a lot more aggressive this time around in the UFC. I know he's 0-3, but look at the guys he's facing, man. Those guys are really good. You know, Elijah Smith is an up-and-coming, possibly top 15 guy. You know, Raul Rosas is knocking on the doorstep. You know, he's up there. Young gun, great grappler. And then the other loss was against just a really, really hard matchup and a very good striker in Taylor Lapilus. You know, like all three of these guys would run circles on Colby Thicknesse. But then when you look at his stint in the regional, right? He fought in Ryzen against Montoya. Montoya is a really good wrestler, grappler, fighter, and he won that fight convincingly against that guy. You know what I'm saying? And then Hunter Azure, another, you know, former UFC guy that can wrestle his ass off. He's got power in the feet, and he finished him as well with a Peruvian necktie. So this guy's front chokes are no joke, man. And Colby Thicknesse is probably going to put his neck in one of them. It probably is what it is. Maybe he gets out of it. Like, he's a black belt on the ground. That's what he does. He's a grappler. And apparently, I'm listening to his interview. Supposedly, he's like one of the best grapplers in Australia. He's like talking about how he's one of the best there as far as jiu-jitsu. I don't know, because there's not much tape to see if he can defend subs and stuff like that. Maybe he can, you know, maybe Morales locks something up. He can't get it. I was teetering back and forth on this one because I do think Morales could potentially sub him. But I went with decision here because the price at one point was 10-1. I like that for Morales, but it came all the way down to 650. And I don't know, like, maybe there's a little bit of meat on the bone, but I went with decision at plus 250. I just think he can win anywhere this fight goes. I think he can win the scrambles. I think he can win the striking. I just think that huge experience edge, way better level of opposition. He came out to Australia like 2 weeks ahead, which I like. You know, with Cody Steele, they came out at the same time. They're both from Syndicate, right? So give me Morales decision at plus 250, but it could definitely be sub.
Yeah, very good breakdown. I ended up on the sub. I bet it earlier. I think I got like plus 800. I still think it's good at plus 650 or 600. The Peruvian necktie is only 40-1. It's normally like 100-1 on MGM. I wouldn't play that. I think that this fight is like you said, like the concern for me, I think I put this in the Discord early in the week before I was taping, was like Vince to be a value loser and, not strike enough or something like that, and make, 2 or 3 bad decisions and lose his minus 3,000. Like, and then I did more tape and I'm just like, dude, Colby just is not it. Like that Colby versus Musasa fight was him getting his ass kicked, and then he lands both takedowns, and within like landing the takedowns, he literally like lands into mount. Like, and it was just like, it was a fucking joke. Like Musasa didn't even have any chance to like, obviously Musasa sucks on the ground, but like being put in, like, landed in mount is like, you're pretty much cooked. He was landed in mount, and not only was he landed in mount, he's landed in mount and his head was against the cage. And it just like, there was literally nothing that the dude could do. And that was just like complete AIDS for Mousasi. And I just don't think that Colby's like a guy that, like, in this fight, like, I just think that the kicks and shit like that, and like, I don't know, I just don't think it'll be enough. Like, I think that Morales, for me, the problem that I've seen with Morales in multiple fights is that he just doesn't do enough striking wise, and like, you're just begging for him to do more. And I think that that's kind of the way that Colby could win this fight, is just like, just throwing empty Vanessa Demopoulos-esque volume that doesn't hit, but just like, just WMMA shit that you're just like watching. You're just like, he's just doing more. And you're like, and the judges give him credit for that. And he's in Australia. But I ended up on the Vince Morales side. I think he's legit better everywhere. I think he's like just a better fighter, just in general, all the way around. And yeah, so I mean, I'll go with it again. I like the sub. I mean, he's literally, I feel like if he gets those the sub attempts that he had on Rosas and had on Smith, that Colby taps, honestly.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, the Rosas one was, I mean, Rosas was grimacing. His eyes were closed. Like, it was deep. It was deep. You could see it by his face. Like,
Smith, he just ran out of time.
Smith, no, but the first one where he had him darced and Smith flattened out on his stomach,
Yeah,
and he just like exploded out of it. You know, like, Smith is so athletic, though. You know, he's a super explosive athletic guy.
I thought he ran out of time in the third round one.
That was the last round, yeah.
Yeah.
But before that, he had him in another sub. He had an
Yeah.
actual darce in, and Smith did the right thing. When you're darce, you go flat, you know, belly down. Just like I don't know if you remember when Arman Sarukian against Charles O'Reilly, same exact thing, right? He went belly down. Yeah. So I will say this. If Vince Morales is smart, he can absolutely dominate this fight. If he decides to just anti-grapple and say, you know, I'm stuffing this guy's takedowns. You know, Miles Johns, who's a good wrestler when he wants it, he went 1 for 12 against Vince Morales. You know, Vince Morales stuffed all of them. But like, sometimes Vince just is okay with getting taken down because he's good on the mat. He knows he's good on the mat, is, you know, bothersome, right? Like, I don't want him to do that. Just stuff this fucking guy's takedowns and beat him up on the feet. You're better. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I think the concern with that is the same thing I said with the volume. Like, that's where it's like, I do think he can beat his ass.
I think his volume has been actually not bad. I mean, honestly, it's
like 40. Like, it's not been great. Like, he landed 17 versus Rosas. That was primary grappling. Smith 40, same thing. 39.
Yeah, but there was a ton of grappling in the Smith fight too.
Like 39 versus Johns, 51 versus Martinez, 27 versus he knocked out.
Like, for instance, look at against Lapalus, 141 significant strikes thrown. He just didn't land a lot because, don't forget, Lapalus is a good striker. This Colby Thicknesse guy's a bot on the feet, bro. He's gonna land whenever he wants on this guy.
If he throws 140, if he throws 140,
if he throws 140, I say he's gonna land 70 or 80, like half of them on this guy. So I'm not very concerned, like, with this particular fighter on the feet, but yeah, we'll see. You know, and Colby doesn't have any power in his hands, in my opinion, like none. So he kicks are decent, but that's it. What do we have here in chat? The fight was gross, says NBMMA. 3 L's in a row to budding prospects. This will be no different. I would not call Colby Thicknesse a budding prospect.
I mean, all those fighters that he lost to would be minus 400 or higher versus Colby Thicknesse.
Yeah. I would not call. I mean, I don't think he is. I'd be surprised if this guy's some kind of prospect down the road. His striking is god awful and it's never improved. Jewish Better says, yeah, once they do, you got to try and move to the back if they defend that way, because they kind of just flat on their stomach. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to ultimately roll him over and catch that leg, but Vince kind of switches it up though. I feel like sometimes he'll have like a darce and he'll like switch it up and just switch his grip and go to a Peruvian necktie. He did that like a couple of times where he lost position against I believe it was against Smith. He tried to get in a Peruvian necktie and he lost position because of it. All right, let's move on. Next one, it is in the middleweight division. It is the 37-21 Gerald Meerschaert versus the 9-3 Jacob Malkoun, and currently it's minus 1100, Tim, with the comeback on Meerschaert of plus 700. This one's yours. Great fight for you, Tim. Get out the lotion.
Yeah. This is kind of like flip your coin on Malkoun and what you think, if can Gerald survive or not. And yeah, it's really a tough one for me. I don't want to put money on this fight because I could see it happening either way. I kind of think like if Gerald's just completely cooked and Malkoun, hits him a couple times early and he doesn't want to fight, then it could be KO1 for Malkoun. And then if Gerald takes the first few shots in the first round and survives it, I think like it's just going to be a typical Malkoun decision. I ended up on the Malkoun decision, plus 230. This guy's not finishing a one-legged Torres Finney. He's literally beating the living shit out of him. He's typically not knocking guys out unless he hits them with his hip. And yeah, I think Meerschaert can potentially survive. Honestly, I'm not going to bet this fight. So I'm not going to go too much in depth on it. I think GM3 is pretty much cooked at this point. And Malkoun is a dependable fighter that you can rely on, some volume on the feet. And if it's not working out for him on the feet, he's just going to be very solid and going for single legs that are really solid and then good top time and staying safe. So I think that's very likely for him in this fight.
Yeah, at first, I kind of thought to myself, well, Malkoun probably could finish, Meerschaert. Like Meerschaert looks kind of washed. He's up there in age. He's flying to Australia again. But to be honest, like I'm watching Malkoun, and if you watch back, I didn't notice this during the fight, but Torres Finney, Tim, 15 seconds into the fight, guys, go back and watch that. Torres Finney goes to throw a leg kick, and he's like, he doesn't even attempt it yet. And you could see he tweaks something in his knee. He came in with an injury. I'm 100% sure. He goes to throw a calf kick or whatever, some kind of leg kick. He pulls it. He didn't throw it. And then you could see him limping on one leg. Like his back leg is fucked up. His right leg was fucked up, I believe. And you could see him limping right away. And Malkoun notices it and comes at him right away. And now Torres Finney for the rest of the fight is one-legged fighter. He tore something in that knee. Fight with a torn something, right? And he was just like I know Finney is tough, but he's like a sitting duck, bro. And like he was gassed. He was, you name it. And you still couldn't finish him. And the thing when I look at Malkoun, and it's not even finishing instincts at this point, The dude has however many UFC fights, 3, 6, 8, right? He's got one knockdown, and the only reason he knocked out Finney is because his well, wait, they have a knockdown? No. Yeah, they gave him one knockdown, right? And the only reason he got the knockdown is because Finney was on one leg. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy just doesn't hit hard. Like, you watch him throw, and he just doesn't have oomph on his punches. He really doesn't. He's technical. He's got a good jab. He's got a good 1-2, but there's no power behind him, man. And the other thing is, like, Gerald is southpaw, right? Which gives him a little bit of a different look to Malkoun, right? He's southpaw for one, similar to Petrosky, but Petrosky couldn't handle the hip. That was the problem with that fight. Meerschaert throws kicks. He's a little bit longer, right? Big reach. So I think he can survive, honestly, against me. I don't think Malkoun's like some killer. Like, yes, did he get knocked down the last two and it didn't look good, especially against, Daukaus? But Daukaus has been looking good, man. It was a club and sub,
Daukaus finished Pereira.
Yeah, and then Olashechek hits like a truck. Like, I don't care about that fight. Like, are we comparing Malkoun to, Micallef's power? Like, it's not even close. So, I mean, I would say Tavares has more power than Malkoun. Yes. That was a year ago. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with decision here for Malkoun. I think probably could get some top time because Gerald's going to mess around on his back. And I just think he's faster, better footwork, just youth in general here for Malkoun. It's probably going to win. It's probably going to be a decision, in my opinion. So minus 235 or plus 235. Yeah, I just think it's a trash fight. I don't even know what they're doing with this fight. Let's move on. Light heavyweight division. It is the 9-3 Kevin Christian versus the 6-5 Junior Tafa. And currently Tafa, he's actually gone up a little bit, minus 210, and the comeback of plus 180 on Kevin Christian. I think this one's me. What a shit fight. I mean, 6-5, barely 500. Junior Tafa, who can't grapple a lick. I mean, this guy is one of the worst grapplers in all of MMA, especially when he gets taken down. He's absolutely fucking lost. It's quite crazy that he's still in the UFC. I mean, this is a guy that pulls out of fights. Let me see how many pullouts this guy has. One pullout here, 2 pullouts here. That was Barnett pulling out. 3 pullouts. Wait, he's got more. 4 pullouts, Tim. This guy has 4 fucking pullouts in the UFC, and he's fucking 2-5, and he's still in the UFC. How? Why? I don't get it. Like, I get he hurt Ellicana last time. He's a good striker, but he's a fucking terrible cardio. He's, a terrible grappler. He doesn't give a shit half the time about fighting because he comes in out of shape and looking like shit. Maybe now he's taking it a little seriously. I don't know. I don't think so. But Kevin Christian is just not it, man. This guy is bad. I mean, not a good striker, not a good grappler. He's getting his ass kicked up until, he somehow memes the guy from Dana White's Contender Series. And I have no idea why the fuck they gave him a contract. Like, you got your ass kicked pillar to post for 9 minutes, and then you found the triangle off your back because the other guy was exhausted. And they're like, yeah, we need to reward you. You did really well in this fight. Here you go. Why? Because he's 6'7" and he's Brazilian? Like, get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. So, yeah, I mean, Kevin Christian's just bad fighter, like bad striker, bad grappler, bad everything, chin up in the air. Both these guys have something in common though, Tim. They both got finished by Billy Ellicana. What do you know? And both got subbed by Billy Ellicana. So, yeah, I mean, I really don't know what to do here. I'm just going Tafa KO1, I guess. 185. What a shit price, too. Like, I don't want to touch this fight, to be honest. I mean, why am I betting shit against shit? Right? One shit is a little better than the other shit, but it's still shit at the end. I could honestly see Tafa dropping Kevin Christian and then jumping in his guard and then getting subbed. Can you not see that?
You stole it.
Huh? Can you not see that? Seriously?
You stole it. That was my break. That was going to be mine. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. This guy's a fucking bonehead. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like that. It's just this is like totally one of the worst fights. Like, if you're like laying minus 2-1 on Tafa or parlaying Tafa and Tuivasa this week, and like just immediately call your Gamblers Anonymous sponsor and like just talk to them for a while and see if they can help you out. Like you said at the end there, that was laughing because that's the way that I think that it's honestly like Tafa should nuke this guy. Like, he should nuke him early. Tafa's hurt a bunch of guys in round 1. Christian's there to be hit. Just major tall man defense. And I mean, Tafa can crack. Give him the credit. He definitely can crack. But he just seems like one of those dudes that could absolutely knock him down. And like you said, go in for ground and pound and then just get triangled. So, or armbarred or something stupid, because he's just absolute albino belt shit on the ground. So yeah, I mean, if you tell me like gun to my head, which one would I pick? I would pick KO1 for Tafa, but I'm going to go on the other side. I'm going to say sub 1, Kevin plus 800, sub 2 plus 1600. Yeah, I don't want to have a bet on this fight. If I do, I'll have to call my sponsor.
Listen, I'm the idiot that bet minus 150 on Tafa against Tokos because I honestly looked at that fight and I'm like, man, Tokos stinks. Like, this guy should not be in the UFC. He stinks. This is a tailor-made matchup for Junior Tafa to knock this guy out, right? I'm like, there's no doubt he's going to knock him out here, right? Like, Tokos is not good, And then he hurts him and still somehow gets taken down, and then that's history. He's done. He sucks on the mat. So this guy's he's probably top 5 on the no bet list. Like, I don't give a shit if he's facing,
Kevin Christian.
Even worse. I mean, bring one of the guys from PFL for Christ's sake, and I still wouldn't bet him. So
trying to think of you're trying to think of some really horrible fighter, and I'm like, the horrible fighter you're thinking of is Kevin
right in front of him. Yeah, it's right in front of him. But even this horrible fighter might still get him. Like, it's possible. All right, let's move on. Next fight. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 18-6 Robert Bryczek versus the 14-3 Cam Rowston, and currently Rowston minus 184 with the comeback on Bryczek at plus 148. This is also a line that has come down quite a bit. And it's yours, Tim.
This is an interesting fight for a bunch of different reasons. I've tried to fade like Rowston in his last fight, and just his fight against Petrosky, because I thought Petrosky would be able to wrestle him, and he clearly was just a dumbass that fight. But Rowston for me is on my future fade list. Like, I want to see certain fighters that like have certain styles, and this was one that I wanted to get to it. And then I was like, and I understand people being on Bryczek here. I'm ending up, I think this is fights like could be a couple different things could happen. I think Bryczek could easily knock him out because Cam's gotten hurt in a bunch of fights and been knocked out before, and his defense isn't great. Got rocked versus Brundage and just survived, and then Brundage did Brundage things in the second round. But I think the thing for me that I think is kind of interesting in this fight is that, we have like, Bryczek's going to be a guy that's going to try to pressure hard and throw big shots and, walk forward. He seems very hittable to me. And his grappling, and when he's put on the ground, when he's shown like good initial takedown defense. And I don't think Rowston is like super, super physical. But the thing where I think he might be able to drop a level and catch him is just how aggressive Bryczek comes into the pocket and like strikes, that he can throw himself off balance, and he can just kind of he can be taken down from that position. I don't think it's like a process takedown and like cage, clinch and then dropping levels. I don't think he's going to get him like that. I think you could catch him just being over aggressive and then dropping a level on him or tripping him then. If Rowston gets on top, I think he could do nasty work to Bryczek on the ground, but I don't think that he's going to necessarily either get him down to the ground as much. I don't think it's going to happen. And then Rowston, on the Rowston side, if he is on top, I think he's got pretty good jiu-jitsu, very good ground and pound to set up that as well. But I think this fight is primarily going to be striking, and then I just go, this is like minutes versus moments. And I think it's in Australia as well, Australian fighter. I think Rowston can stay at range and kind of get some more of the volume off and be able to kind of like pick and, pick his shots a little bit better and maybe take a couple of big shots in the rounds. And I think this could be 29-28, all the way across, or maybe 29-28 for Rowston, 29-28 for Bryczek. So I ended up on the trifecta on this one. I went end split is plus 750. It's a huge line. I like that. And then I have I wouldn't do the complete trifecta with one fighter. I would do Cam by decision. I like the most is plus 330. And then Bryczek split is plus 1600. I wouldn't play the Cam split decision. It's not that much higher than the plus 750, but I think if Bryczek wins a decision, I think it would be splitish. And I like the end split the most and Cam points the most, the plus 750 and plus 330. 750 for this fight. If this fight goes, I think that this fight could be very, very close. So yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm all about fading Cam Rowston. I mean, I don't think the guy's good. Plain and simple. Like I don't think this guy is very good. I bet. And listen, is it a bad bet? Sure. Brandon Holmes on Dana White's Contender Series. I bet it. I lose. The 2 fights ago against Petrosky. Actually, Petrosky was looking good. Honestly, he was landing better shots. He just looked better on the feet. He was kicking the legs. But then he died with, I don't even know what, like just absolutely gotten dead with like a weak shot again, and he died. So, I don't think Cam Rowston's like some big hitter. I don't think Cam Rowston's some great grappler. I think he's very defensively void. He reaches a lot. He drops his hands a lot. He backs himself up to the cage a lot. If you remember round 1 against Cody Brundage hurt him and he dropped to his like knees, like reaching kind of like he was hurt, trying to grab Cody's leg basically. And let me tell you, man, I know Robert Bryczek didn't look good in that fight against Ihor Potieria, but Potieria is a good southpaw striker, man. He's got good kicks. He's got good hands. So if you're going to just sit there and try to strike with Potieria, it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? It's not an easy fight if you're just going to strike with him. And then not to mention that, Bryczek was doing well early, and then there was nut shots and eye pokes, and there was like 3 fucking breaks in that fight. You know what I'm saying? That kind of gave Potieria a lot of breaks, which for a guy that gasses a lot, that was very good. Bryczek to me has very good cardio. Like when you watch the last fight against Tavares, like he went ham in round 1. I'm like, man, this guy's gonna death gas. He didn't get Tavares out of there. He hurt him a couple of times. He almost finished him, and now I'm like, he's gonna dump now bad because he just unloaded the clip. And yeah, he took a little bit off in round 2. He didn't go crazy, but he was right back to business in round 3, and he had the power. And when I watch his tape, like on the regionals, the guy has good cardio, man. Like his cardio is legit. Even though you see round one, but then when you look at, the round 5 finish, right? He's got good cardio in round 5. He's finishing a guy, he's been the decision a bunch of times, and he's looked good in those fights, later on. So I kind of think he might have better cardio, honestly, than Rowston here, Bryczek. And he's got fucking big power, man. His boxing is good. He's coming in. He's that side to side and just winging hooks, dude, like body, head. And the thing that I like about Bryczek is it's not 1 or 2 punches. It's 4 or 5. It's 6. They're all combos. They're fucking flying. They're 100 miles per hour, 5 punches at a time. And a guy like Rowston, who's defensively void, is probably going to eat some of those. Whether he gets knocked out or not, I'm not 100% sure. I think he could get hurt in this fight. But I also think one more thing is that Bryczek, with his style, he does a lot of bobbing and weaving with his boxing, and he has kind of like a low stance, right? I kind of think Rowston has good knees up the middle. He does throw those knees up the middle, and I think he's got to be very careful about those knees up the middle, because I know that because of Bryczek's style, heavy boxing, bobbing and weaving, you could bob right into a freaking knee from Rowston. He throws them, and he's long, right? So he needs to be very careful there. But I'm going to go last fight. I took Bryczek as a dog against Tavares, but I also played his decision at a big plus money to him. And it was such pain because he finished him. I'm like, okay, you're on your way to winning this round. You're looking good. And then he finishes him, right? I'm going right back to decision again on Robert Bryczek at 6-1. I think he can win unanimously all 3 rounds just by pressure, boxing, landing the better shots. I will say one thing about Rowston that I like. There's one very good attribute he does on the feet. It's really good, actually. He feints really well on the feet. He just feints a lot. You don't know when you're on the other side and a guy like him is long and he's feigning like with his knee up, he's feigning with punches and stuff like that. He gets people to react a lot, to open up. So he has really, really good feints. But also, I think he's low volume, in a sense. Like he's looking for one big shot. He doesn't throw a lot of combos. Yeah, I mean, grappling-wise, like Bryczek is a black belt. I think he's the better wrestler, honestly, Bryczek, between these two guys. If they were to just straight up wrestle, I think Bryczek would own him in the wrestling. So, yeah, I'm going Bryczek decision 6-1. It could be Bryczek KO, maybe kicking myself if that happens. But I think this fight is really, really close, honestly. Should not be Rowston minus 170 here, in my opinion. What do we got here? Rian says Rowston KO, already bet it. Fucking love Timothy Troiano trifectas. It's Rowston sub or Bryczek KO. All right, let's move on, Tim. Next fight. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 10-5 Louis Sutherland versus the 14-9 Tai Tuivasa. I'm currently Tuivasa's minus 220 with the comeback on Sutherland and plus 185. And I just want to throw up, Tim. I want to throw up right here, right on this microphone. Bleh. Just let it all out because this is a shit fight. Like, Tai Tuivasa, I don't care. Like, the only time this guy fights is when it's in Australia. The UFC books him because they know he puts people in the seats, right? They know people love him, the shoey bullshit. But this guy, I honestly don't think he cares about fucking MMA. He's got businesses outside of here. He has a weed business. He has this, that, and the other. He's making a shit ton of money. Listen, at the end of the day, he's still going to fight. He's a fighter. The one thing with Tai Tuivasa is he is a fighter. He's tough as nails. You cannot get him out of there easy, and he will keep fighting, right? So props to him for that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that preparing for a fight, I don't think this guy gives two shits, right? Then you have Louis Sutherland, who looks like, a butterball turkey as of late. Fucking got out to God knows where. He's off the roids, obviously. This guy was on like big time roids before. He came in last fight trying to grapple against Pericic, which was smart, but he just didn't do it well. Like he almost gassed himself out within fucking half a round, I think he could take Tuivasa down. He could double like Tuivasa and take him down. On the feet, I think Louis has good leg kicks, honestly. I think he has decent hands, too. I also think his chin is actually pretty damn good. Now, you don't want to take big hammers from Tuivasa. He hits very hard. Man, if this fight, Tim, even gets to like the 6-minute mark, it's going. It's literally going. And it's going to be two sloppy, tired heavyweights fucking pushing on each other, clinching. Fight goes is 260. But I'm going to also play Tuivasa decision, man. It's 7-1. I mean, he's in Australia. I don't see like Louis dominating this guy at any point in this fight. Like, can Louis take him down? Sure. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold him down. Tuivasa probably going to get up. And I just think he's going to land the better shots on the feet. He hits a little bit harder. It's in Australia. We already saw fuckery with Rosenstrike where they gave him a 30-27 card, man, in Australia. Like, that's fuckery. There's no ways around that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, shit fight, but I'm going to go with GTD here and potentially Tuivasa by decision.
Yeah, I like that. I was talking with Dravi, and we were just saying the same thing, like just on their pod. It was just like, hey, this is a KO 1 for Tai, or I think Tai decision. Like it's either he knocks him out early or he just gasses and wins the decision by just, hurting him more and having more moments. Sutherland for me just is not it, like really at all. Like this guy just doesn't do enough. And like you said, I mean, he might be able to get takedowns, but I mean, Ty was working his way up against Teixeira multiple times, and just I think he can get up if he gets taken down. He's not going to give up. So yeah, and like you said, 30-27 versus Jair versus Rosenstrike is like literally one of the worst cards of all time. Like it's up there with like Cheeto Vera winning 49-46 versus Cody Sandhagen. Like those are two of the worst cards I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, I don't hate the GTD call, but I just would take tie decision, tie split at 7-1 and 16-1.
Yeah, I mean, we forgot to mention a very important aspect of it is the fact that Louis Sutherland's taking this on short notice too. I totally forgot that, and I'm looking at his Instagram right now. It's hilarious because if you guys want to see something funny, he has a pinned post of him flexing with the LFL bet, the Levels Fight League belt, the heavyweight belt, and he's got boulders of shoulders, like he's juiced to the tits, right? And then he has a recent picture of one day ago, and he put ready to rumble down under, and he's doing the same flex, right? But he has a shirt on. We know what that means.
Yeah, dude.
But like, short notice. I mean, it's not the best. It's not the best thing. They might just bring him in to
get slaughtered.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, it could be. All right, let's move on. Next fight. It's also in the heavyweight division. It is the 14-2 Shamil Gaziev versus the 6-1 Brando Pericic. And Pericic is currently a -130 with the comeback on Gaziev at +110. I think this one's mine, or is it yours?
No, this one's me.
This was you. Go ahead.
Yeah, this fight sucks to me. Like, I don't know. I think both of these guys, like, it's not going to suck. Don't get me wrong. From like a betting perspective, it kind of sucks to me. Like, I think somebody's going to die in this fight. And Pericic, to me, is a guy similar to, like, just similar with Rowston. Like, I'm going to fade this guy eventually. But, when do we do it? And then I'm like, do I want to do it with Shamil Gaziev? And it's like, Shamil's like a great hammer and a horrible nail, and just seems to, he's got gas in his name. Like I spell his name lowercase g, capital A, capital S, capital S, I-E-V. This dude is like, he's just got major gas issues. If he's fighting somebody that doesn't have any like power and he just feels like he's the alpha, like, he's really good, but if he's fighting anybody that he has just even remote, like just even little bits of fear in the fight for their power, or that he feels like he's at a disadvantage, he just doesn't fight well. And, so this is tough for me. Like I'm actually going against what I was just saying. Like for me, it's like, I think that this clearly could be Brando knocking his head off, into the stands in the first round. I think that's most likely what happens, but similar to the Tafa fight, like, I feel like Shamil in this fight, to me, if you're smart and you just got bonked versus Cortez Acosta, like I think you're cage pushing and trying to get takedowns on Pericic like instantly in this fight. If he's smart, if he tries to stand and strike with him, I think he's going to get just nuked. Pericic has, which one of these guys is more gassy is just a major question to me that I don't know, honestly. And we'll find out in future, but I'm going to go with sub-1 and sub-2 for Gaziev. I think he has to grapple in this fight. Like he's got to play it smart and try to cage push and get Pericic down. Pericic's been subbed in round 2 by an absolute bum, in my opinion. And I don't know. I think that's got to be the Gaziev plan of attack in this fight for me. So yeah, give me sub-1, sub-2 for Gaziev, and hope he fights smart.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he fights smart. He's an idiot. He's going to have his hands down. He's going to try to act like he's some fucking great striker when he's not. He's going to act like he's tough when he's not. So I kind of, Pericic is this type of guy that you're right, with the right opponent, potentially fade. It could be Gaziev. It could be, when I watch his wrestling is just not that good, man. He doesn't he doesn't drop down really well. He's slow. He's, you know, and Pericic is always talking about how he has a wrestling background. If he wants to wrestle, let's wrestle. He keeps saying that. He said it in the media day. He's like, oh, wrestling? Let's go. Let's wrestle. That's my background. But then when you look at his, you know, background and where he succeeded, at least, it's been kickboxing, right? He's a good kickboxer. Well, I think he's a world champion, actually, in IKSA. But, you know, he's a good kickboxer, and he hits very hard. From what everybody says at City Kickboxing, like, this guy just hits like a truck. He's the hardest hitter. He just knocked out Sutherland, that's never been knocked out. So, and then when you look at, you know, Gaziev, he was getting destroyed every time he got touched by Waldo, right? He quit against Rosenstrike. He literally quit in that fight. I kind of think Pericic is going to knock him out, honestly. The problem is the KO is shit. It's like his money line almost. Just go KO 1, honestly. It's plus 190. Another shit line. Like, I don't really recommend playing these because the line's just so bad and anything can happen. It's MMA, could extend. There could be clinching, right? But I think he's going to knock this guy out. I really do. I kind of think there might be a little bit of value on 130. I don't know yet. I'm still deciding because Pericic has shown bad defensive grappling in his loss, right? Even though he says he's a wrestler, I don't know how. You know, he did well against Louis Sutherland on those blast doubles. Like, just did the right thing. You know, whizzer, sprawl, get up. You know, he did really good with them. So he might actually know what he's doing. I don't know what happened in that one fight where he looked like he just gassed and gave up, which could happen. Yeah, it could happen here, you know, but I'm going KO 190. I don't love it. Let's move on. Well, this one, the thing is, I'm going to, you know, these odds were what I thought they would be. But currently we have 4-2 Ali Schmid versus the 8-0 Marvin Rahiki. And I guessed on the odds of minus 800 plus 600. Well, right now it's minus 700 plus 500. I was close, Tim, with the guess. Pretty close.
Yep.
There's no props currently on this fight. You know, there's none. So we can't really give you a prop, you know, per se. I think Rahiki is probably going to find a finish. You know, it could be sub 2, honestly, against this Schmid guy. But I'm going to warn people one thing in this fight. And I taped this fight earlier in the week. I think Ali Schmid is good. I think he has really good striking, man. I honestly think so. He's 23. He's at City Kickboxing. This guy's going to be improving. And I'm telling you, he has good striking. He's got really, really good striking. He's fast. He's got good kicks. He's got a very good question mark kick. He's not one to just be like, oh, you know, they're bringing in 4-2 guy. Because that's what I thought initially. But when I watched his tape, he actually looked pretty damn good for a 4-2 guy. So, yes, he doesn't have a lot of experience. He's got 2 losses. He's been finished in both of his losses against Gillis, who's a veteran, tough guy, you know, that throws a lot. And then he got finished against a very, very good fighter, by the way. That's the guy. That guy, if I was a matchmaker in the UFC, right? They brought up this Ali Schmid guy. Well, why the fuck didn't you bring up Harry Webb? That's the guy that you should have brought up. Harry Webb, who's 5-0. This guy's good. You know, this guy's really good, Harry Webb. So they should have brought that guy up. And you know what his nickname is, Tim? The human highlight reel. Harry Webb. Why didn't they bring that guy in instead of this Ali Schmid guy? But anyways, that's a guy that, you know, he lost to, and it was competitive early. It was really competitive. But Harry Webb just started to put it on him. You know, Harry Webb, undefeated as amateur, undefeated as a pro, finished almost all of his fights, pro and amateur. Really good fighter. But, you know, Rahiki is explosive, man. He's fast. He's explosive. I think he's going to have a speed advantage. I think he has a power edge here. But he's there to be cracked. This is not, I'm going to tell you guys, this is not fucking Harry Hardwick. Ali Schmid is a better striker, much better than Harry Hardwick is. So he better mind his P's and Q's, because if he just thinks it's going to be go in there and rock 'em, sock 'em robots, he could get fucking blasted. So If they give me like plus 2,000 on Ali Schmid KO, I'm gonna take a poke at it. You have anything here at all? I'm assuming not.
No, I didn't do enough tape on
Yeah.
Ali Schmid. Like, yeah, I couldn't get to it. So
okay, beautiful. Let's move on. Next fight. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 21-13-1 Tim Elliott versus the 13-4 Steve Erceg. And currently, Tim, minus 185. Steve Erceg with the comeback on Elliott at plus 160. And this line has absolutely been destroyed because Erceg was upwards of 450 a couple of days ago. 450. He is down to minus 185. And I think it's me, right? Because the last one I just broke it down.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Elliott is 39. He's old, no doubt. But I think he's kind of looked pretty good lately. You know, I think maybe Mazzani was holding him back. You know, a lot of bullshit going on in his personal life. I think that held him back. He's on a 2-fight win streak. He probably was the closest guy to beating Muhammad Micallef and taking that O from him, because he was up 2-0 on 2 scorecards in that fight. He took Micallef down. He got him against the fence. He was kneeing him. The ref stops the fight, says, oh, he was down. They go check. He wasn't down, right? He wasn't down. So they're like, oh, shit, we fucked up. They reset them. And then once they reset them, Muhammad Micallef right away got out of the position and got his back and subbed him. So I think that fucked him really bad, Tim Elliott there, the ref mistake. I'm a Steve Erceg hater. Like I get he has skills. He's got good boxing. He's got good grappling. I have no qualms about that. But Steve Erceg's chin is not very good. That's one. I don't think he's the best wrestler. That's 2. And 3, he's always fighting close against these other guys. Like, it just is what it is. And the other thing I'm going to say here that's very, very important, in my opinion, in this fight is that Steve Erceg is 10 times better technically than Tim Elliott, right? But he needs a dance partner. He needs someone to be technical with him. And Tim Elliott is not going to be technical with him, dude. He's called awkward MMA for a reason. This guy does not fight. He's switching stances. He's lifting up his leg and doing the crane, fucking jumping on one leg, doing a crane while he gets closer to his opponent. Like, these guys are like, what's going on here? You know? And he's just an awkward fighter. Punches are coming up from weird angles, back fists, all types of shit. And honestly, Steve Erceg is kind of chinny, man. He's getting hit and dropped. Almost got finished by O'Day. And I know O'Day hits hard, and I know Tim Elliott doesn't hit that hard. But I don't think you need to hit that hard to drop Erceg, to be honest. Like, I look at that chin, Tim. It's like really small, tiny head. You see the head? You know how we talk about those blockheads? Like, what's the Argentinian guy? Ribovics, right? The blockhead and the other blockhead. What's the other blockhead? Vejos, right? Big fucking blockhead. Big. You can't knock those guys out. Look at this guy's head and chin. There's nothing there. No wonder he gets dropped every time. So I'm going to go with Elliott decision, 430. It's a nice price, I think. Plus 430. I think he can win minutes. I think he can take Erceg down and stay safe. I think he can just be really weird on the feet and win minutes, honestly. Like, just making Steve uncomfortable, making Steve needs a clean fight, and Tim will never give him a clean fight. And he said that. He said, I'm not going to go in there and be no, I'm Tim Elliott. They call me awkward MMA. Like, he's not going to go in there and just, you know, I think he's got a good chance to win here, and decision is plus 430. What do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I've been, the only thing I'd add, I think that Steve Erceg has like had a few of his fights have been just like absolute kind of ass pulls. Like Dvorak, he was losing and then he drops him in like Costa was round 3, similar deal. Obviously he made the one mistake versus Pantoja, and everybody kind of like just completely overvalued him from that point on. I was on Kai Car France by KO versus him. I was on points for Moreno. Like, had a lot of his fights kind of on point. I had Erceg versus Ode by a sub in round 2, 3, and that was like tragic. I even thought like
You think that was tragic? I had like plus 500 on Ode Osborne. He drops him and hurts him, and it was a really close fight.
Yeah, live. I think I was live. I think I live bet Ode a little bit too in that, because I thought that he like was arguably won that fight. I think I was in round 3 because I knew I had the sub props, and I think I remember the live betting Ode, thinking that you could make the argument that he won that fight. But yeah, I mean, I just think, like you said, I don't think that Erceg's like separating versus really anybody. And yeah, so for me, the only thing I would add, like I have points and split for Tim as well, but the only thing I would add as well is I don't hate the Erceg sub 3 as plus 2,000. Like I think that that's good too, because I think Tim has shown in fights that when he's going hard, kind of like the Micallef fight, like when he's going all out in these takedowns, he can tire out, and he is a little bit older. So yeah, I don't think that the 2,000 like plus 2,000 for sub 3 for Erceg isn't bad, but I ended up on the split and decision for Tim Elliott as well at 11-1 and plus like 430.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Tim Elliott could put himself in some kind of submission.
Yeah,
that's not
especially late.
The only thing I will say is like he's getting subbed by like the best of the best, you know.
Yeah,
he's really getting subbed against really, really good grapplers. I don't know if Steve's in that category, but I think Tim Elliott is the better wrestler, like no doubt in my mind. I mean,
for sure.
I mean, Tim is out grappling. I want to say he out grappled Ulanbekov in that fight, right? Like I don't remember for sure, but I think he did.
I mean, Micallef's not easy to take down.
Yeah, and he took him down in round 1 easily. He was on top of him. So, all right. Let's just move on here. We're up to the co-main event here, Tim, and it's in the lightweight division. It is the 23-7-1 Beneil Dariush versus the 11-1 Quillen Salkilld. And currently Salkild's up to minus 500 with the comeback on Benny at plus 375. I got to say, Tim, before you break this down, Benny's my guy. He's Assyrian pride like me. We're both Assyrian. So our nationality is the same, but that's it. I have to say it. You know, I love the guy, but he probably should have stopped fighting a couple of fights ago. But go ahead.
Yeah, this is tough. Like just a lot of ifs and, what if, and, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle kind of situation. Like, I just think like Benny's just kind of, at this point, it's really tough to back him. I think that it's tough to be like, if Quillen tries to grapple in this fight and, wants to do that and doesn't fight smart, I think that's the path that he loses. I think that he's shown good fight IQ in a lot of his fights. He has to know at this point that just Benny's chin is cooked. Benny's getting, his eyes are rolling back from a shot from BSD that was like a 50% shot. It wasn't really even huge. And he's getting knocked out by Arman Sarukian on the feet, who's not knocking guys out on the feet. He's usually ground and pounding him into oblivion. So yeah, he just seemed it's not even like his chin is it's always kind of been a question with him. Like he got rocked versus Drakkar Klose. He got obviously knocked out earlier years and years ago, earlier in Alex Hernandez's career. So he's always getting hurt by guys. Like he's always there to be hit. So it's not just like, it's just gotten significantly worse. Like it's gone from bad to horrible, So yeah, to me, I just think that this fight is most likely going to be, Salkilld knocking him out early. But yeah, I can't go with the KO one on Salkilld. I'm just gonna do the I don't think this is gonna happen bet of the week. And go Salkilld decision plus 600. Benny split 25-1. You know, they're not going to happen though. So whatever.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of a setup fight, I guess, for Salkilld, you know, facing a UFC legend and a guy that was still, I think, top 15, if I'm not mistaken. And there, you know, if Salkilld wins here, he gets the number, you know, type of deal, main, you know, co-main event in Perth. And I was, listen, I'm very high in Salkilld. I said it when he was in Dana White's Contender Series. I said, this guy is really good. I've had a lot of mistakes and made, you know, some wrongs, especially with the Pink Panther. I was dead wrong. But Quillen Salkilld, I was right. I mean, this guy is really, really good. He's good grappler, good striker, very good kicking game, very good cardio, very good durability. He's the complete package when it comes to an MMA fighter. I think he lacks a little bit of defense, but overall, like, he's just a great fighter. He's good everywhere, you know, and he's got the intangibles. He got the durability. He's got the cardio, all of that stuff. With all that being said, right, Benny needs to grapple here, and he needs to grapple like his life depends on it. Because you know what? One thing I've noticed with Quillen Salkilld is when people grapple with him, he's going to grapple right back with them. He doesn't disengage like to say, oh, you know what? I'm the better striker. Let me just keep it on the feet. And no, he's going to anti-grapple back, and he's going to try to get his grappling going. You know what I'm saying? And I think if Beneil can drag him in that type of fight, then that's Beneil's world, you know, because I'm going to tell you guys, whether he's chinny, this, that, and the other, he's 36. This guy's one of the best grapplers in the UFC, bar none. Like when you put together defensive wrestling, offensive wrestling, jiu-jitsu, this guy's one of the best. Like Beneil Dariush is one of the best grapplers, and he's, you know, he's very strong. You look at a guy like Charles Oliveira and how he was able to just get the body lock on the fence, just throw Oliveira down. You know this guy is strong because Oliveira is super strong in that clinch position, that 50-50 clinch. People don't, he's usually taking you down, you know, and Beneil took him down in that same position. And we've seen over and over again, when Beneil offensively wrestles and wants to take people down, he usually does. He just doesn't grapple much, you know. It's mostly defensive wrestling. Like, look at the Gamrot fight. Gamrot shot 1,000,000 times. Did he get him down? Sure. But how long did he hold him down? 2 seconds? Because it wasn't long, you know? And I just feel like Quillen might engage in the grappling, Tim. And, you know, I'm going to put this under the category that you just mentioned. You know, a bet that I'm probably going to play but won't win. Beneil Dariush by submission. 14-1 for one of the best grapplers in the UFC. He knows he's been, I mean, listen to me. He knows he's been knocked out. He's been knocked out. He knows his chin is not good. He asked the UFC to move up to 170, right? So I want to move up to 170. I think my chin is getting dust from cutting. I heard his interview. What happened is not that the UFC declined him, right? It's because the UFC went with the UFC PI, and they asked the UFC PI, they said, hey, can you run this guy's numbers and tell us, like, does he maybe need to move up? Is he like completely draining all the water in his body and his brain, and he's coming back, his chin is shot? And they said to him, no. They said UFC PI told him, no, you're perfectly fine at 55. You're just doing the wrong thing. You're cutting the wrong way, they told him. So apparently from his interview, right, this is from Beneil's mouth, Beneil said that the UFC PI told him to increase his carbs, keep eating a lot of carbs for your weight cut, but take out protein. Stop eating protein. And Beneil said he was doing the direct opposite. He was not eating any carbs, and he was taking in protein. So the direct opposite of what UFC PI told him to do is what he was doing. So doesn't mean his chin is going to get solved. I don't think so. I think the chin is probably gone at this point. But to me, you know your chin is gone, right? We know you're a good striker, but why wouldn't you grapple here? Malarkey took this guy down. Why wouldn't you grapple against this guy? You know, test him out. Is he that good? I think Quillen Salkilld is good on the ground, but I think there's levels to this, and I think Dariush is better. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the category that probably won't win. You know, it's probably going to be Salkilld KO1 is my official prediction is I think he's going to knock him out. Yes. But 14-1 sub on Benny, I'm not ignoring. There's no way I can ignore that, because I think there's a chance he can grapple here, and maybe Quillen decides, oh, I'm better than you down here, and they pull it out and they put it on the table, and Beneil happened to be a little bigger at that point, with the grappling. So, all right. Before we go on to the main event, please like, subscribe, do all of those good things. Hit the notification button if you haven't. 414 live viewers. I appreciate each and every one of you. With that being said, Tim, we are moving on. No stop, all breaks. I mean, all gas, no breaks. We are in the main event here, and it is the 18-3 Jack Della Maddalena versus the 23-7 Carlos Prates. And currently, I think that's absolute pick'em right now, Tim. -110 a piece here. Jack Della versus Carlos Prates. Great main event. Yeah, I mean, I went back and forth, and I'm like to myself, you know what? I did so much tape on this fight, and I still couldn't figure out who's going to win, honestly. Like, I just don't know. I think Jack Della has the boxing. He has the pressure. He could go to the body. Kind of some unknowns from Prates, how he handles the body shots. I really don't know. Jack Della has the better boxing overall, just like combos and stuff. He just throws better body head. Prates is more of a one-shot sniper type of guy. He's got that straight left piston. And he's very good in the clinch, man. Really good knees, really good elbows. He's a Muay Thai guy, right? He's very long. I don't suggest that Jack does the normal shit where he backs somebody to the cage and, he tries to just go to the body, where Carlos can potentially grab a Thai clinch and just fucking send a knee up the middle. The other thing I don't like with Jack Della that I think is going to be a problem is a lot of times he has the high guard. He has the boxing high guard. And whether it's a shot straight down the middle that Prates lands or those teeps to the body or a step in knee when Jack is coming in rolling, like those are the type of things that could land on him in this fight, because he has a very high guard. His body's wide open to be teeped, kicked, kneed when he's stepping in, stuff like that. Carlos does. To me, it's like Carlos just has more weapons on the feet. Jack Della is strictly some leg kicks, but all hands for the most part, right? Carlos is everything. His elbows, his knees, he's straight shots, he's everything, right? The one thing I will tell people in this fight is I do think Jack Della is going to grapple here. I think he's going to mix in wrestling for sure. I think he can get takedowns, right? I think he can maybe get a little bit of top time, but I don't think it's going to be much. And then at the end of the day, I just, when I see a fight with two high-level strikers, Tim, and I know both guys can finish. They're finishers, yes. But two high-level strikers, both of them are durable, right? Very durable guys at the end of the day. Split decision is calling my name. Fight ends in split at +650 on DraftKings. Yeah, I don't know who's going to win. I really don't. Very tough fight to call. I'm not going to be betting this fight, but yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with split here at +650.
Yeah, this is clear trifecta spot for me. End split +650, JDM +3 points +350, split +900. I think that this is like Prates to me needs, it's tough seeing him winning a decision without like a massive moments in this fight. I think he's more likely to get a KO in this fight. But I mean, he for sure can land. There's no doubt. Jack is not. He's there to be hit. Look at that nose. I mean, that dude's been hit before. He's 63% striking defense. The biggest stat for me in this fight is there's about a 3 strike differential per minute on landed in an edge for Jack, which is kind of massive. Carlos is like minus 1.2 and Jack is like plus 1.8. That's pretty huge when you're talking fight going 25 minutes or just going the distance. So it's going to take some big shots from Prates in this fight to, shift the cards, but I think it's possible. Don't get me wrong. I think he could get outstruck one. Like it's similar to like, like Aldo Font and like Cheeto versus Font, like where these guys are getting outstruck like 2-1 and they're going, decision the other way. So you could have those moments. You could have some big shots from Prates that makes it a little bit tough. Or it could even be Jack is landing bigger shots, and then you just look at Jack's face and he's bleeding, and he's just the optics of what he looks like at the end of the fight as well. So yeah, I like the end split plus 650, Jack points split as well. I kind of think that my favorite bet would be the Jack points plus 350, but I love the split too at plus 650.
All right. That is it. All 13 fights, Tim. We're down to our Lambo parlays. Before I give my parlays, I do have to shout out the Discord, Tim. Last week, our best week of the year. I'm up over close to 40 units now, all tracked in the Discord, for the year. I think I've won 4 straight weeks. I think like 11 units or 12 units last week. It's just been a really, really good year overall for the Discord. There's a bunch of sharps in there. Some really, really good guys. Golf, NBA, horse racing for this week. We got we got a guy in there, and for horse racing, people don't know. Guy owns like 20 horses, he really knows his shit with his horse racing. And it's the Kentucky Derby. So it's a huge weekend. There's everything going on right this weekend. UFC's obviously at the wee hours of the morning. So that's kind of suck for me. But at the end of the day, link is down below. It's $25 a month. I think it's the best 25 you could spend, to be honest. It's just, we win a bunch. This is not even counting any of the live bets that we hit. We hit so many live bets, but I don't consider those as units won, because it's just, not everybody's going to get the same price, and it's not fair to track something like that, but yeah, at the end of the day, that's it. I wanted to shout out the Discord. I want to shout out all the live viewers here, for over 400. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for all the support. And with that said, Tim, it's Lambo parlay time. I'm going to go here. Last week was brutal because I gave out some parlays in the Discord. They were Alex Hernandez decision was the last leg, and it was 137-1 and 37-1. It was brutal. I gave out a spread parlay where I had Rafa Garcia the last leg being -1.5 in round 3, right?
What a fucking
and
joke.
Everything goes to shit in that fight. Garcia wins the first 2 rounds. All my bets, if anything was different, my bets win, right? If Hernandez wins round 1 or 2 and still loses the fight, the round 3 bet cashes, and that was another 160-1 that I lost. It was brutal. But yeah, I told the guys to hedge because you have so much riding on it, like $10,000, $12,000 could be won. I'm like, hedge some on money line and stuff on Rafa, and you can win some money at least. Anyways, Tim, this week, my Lambo parlay, we kind of discussed this a little bit. It is Johnston KO. It is Themba Gorimbo by decision. That's 30-1. And then if you're getting squirrely, you at Bryczek by decision, and you get 217-1. Tim, my second one is the Lambo submission parlay. We're going to go with Steele by submission. We're going to go with Micallef by submission. And we're going to go with Morales by submission. And it is 149-1, Tim. That's how I'm going. What do you have?
Love it. Yeah, I have Cody by sub. I have Junior Tafa by KO. And I have Cam Rowston by decision at 49-1.
All right. That's not bad either. 49-1, not bad. Yeah. All right, guys. 407 live viewers. We've been going on for hour 45 here. We appreciate everybody. We did this show a little early because of the late card, all this stuff going on. Thank you to everybody that's in here. All the support, like, subscribe, please comment as well. I'm going to try to get the timestamps up as soon as possible. Thank you to Tim. Tim, you got anything for the people? I think you're going to be live in the Discord and the live chat for UFC Perth.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be there because my kids will probably kill me. So, yeah, Tim's going to be in live. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a bunch of people in there live. So, thanks to everybody. Appreciate all of you. Good luck, and let's cash those tickets for UFC Perth.